Good morning, students. Hope you had a very nice 3-day weekend, and let's get started right away. If you come to think about it, this class has had, and I know you guys have kind of enjoyed this, this class has had, we've only met 4 days a week the whole semester so far. The first week we started school on a Tuesday, and then last week we had Friday off, this because of the 2-hour delay, and then of course this week we had Monday off. So this class has only met 4 times a week for all 3 weeks so far. So hopefully we can get things going. I'm going to give you guys a ton of information here, so please listen carefully. We have a bunch of makeup, catch-up, housekeeping stuff to talk about. So here we go. Are you ready? Get out pen and paper and let's roll. First of all, let's come over here, and this assignment was assigned on Wednesday the 9th. It was due the next day, Thursday the 10th. Everybody has turned this assignment in. Okay, so we're good there. This assignment here was assigned on Thursday the 10th, and it was due Friday the 11th, the next day. Now we're going to mention a lot of names, Ashley, so please don't be offended. You just happen to be the first one, so nothing wrong with that. Ashley, you are missing this assignment. Okay, now look, guys, you might need to pause this video. Look at all the stuff we're going to go through. This assignment, this assignment, this assignment, this. We've got a lot to go through here, okay? So just be patient. Ashley, you are missing this assignment. Now, you might want to write this down. I believe you were absent Thursday or Friday. I'm not sure what day. I could look in the Sycamore account. I'm not going to do that, but you were missing this. I want it made up by Friday. By Friday. Now you just got to do that, okay? I'm not being mean. I'm not having a bad hair day. You just got to get this done, okay? Well, I might be having a bad hair day, but besides the point, you've got to get this done. Here's the video you'll want to watch to help you. Write that down. Now again, I'm moving on. Pause this if you need to. I'm going on. This assignment here was assigned on Friday the 11th. It was due Monday the 14th. I did not get this from Megan or Ashley. Now, if you're saying, Mr. Eric, that's wrong, guys, at least show me the respect and do me the courtesy to look through your notebook. I'm just telling you guys, with only 4 students, it's really difficult to overlook assignments. I'm sure that I haven't. I did not get this from you guys. I need this by Friday, please. Would you make note of that? By Friday. Got to have it done, guys. We're going to have a test on Friday. I'll go ahead and just tell you that right now. So, by Friday. Now, Megan, Ashley, write this down. There's the video that goes along with it. So if you need some help, that's the video you want to watch on YouTube. Okay. This assignment here I'm underlining was assigned on Monday. Let me go back a page and look at something real quick. Okay, thanks. All right, moving on. This assignment here that I've underlined was assigned on Monday the 14th. It was due Tuesday the 15th. I did not get this from Ashley or Kate. Now again, if you disagree, do me the respect of at least looking in your notebook, because I'm telling you guys, I did not get this from you, okay? I need this by Friday. Gotta have it by Friday. It's just, there's just no other way. If you're going to do well in this, remember, the idea of this class is not to go easy on you or be, of course, the word nice is very subjective, because really a nice teacher is going to give you what you need, not what you want, okay? Because in the end, I want you to respect me and love me as a teacher because I've taught you well. And you've left the class knowing your math. So this class is not supposed to be, nice, and it's supposed to be a class that goes slower, and we take our time so you can grasp things, but you've got to get the work done. You will not do well on the test this Friday if you've not done this, okay? So it's by Friday. Ashley, Caitlin, here's the video that goes along with it. So if you want to look, sorry about that. Notice it has a 2 at the end, by the way. Let me go back a page. This assignment here where I was talking to Megan and Ashley, notice that's Berean Academy Geometry 5-3 homework. And then this one here for Ashley and Caitlin, it's Geometry 5-3 homework, then number 2, because we spent 2 days on lesson 5-3. Okay, got it? Ashley, Caitlin, here's the assignment by Friday. Here's the video that might help you. All right, moving on. Like I told you, we had a bunch of housekeeping catch-up stuff to talk about today. All right, this is kind of weird. I don't know what happened. Maybe I didn't communicate well to turn it in, or I think Mr. Harmon missed a couple days last week, and I think Mrs. Traffenstedt might have subbed a day or two. I'm not sure exactly what happened here, but this was assigned on Tuesday the 15th last week. It was due on Wednesday. No one's turned this in yet. No one. Now, I don't want to kill you this week, guys, but I've got to have this. I've got to have it, okay? You're just going to have to bite the bullet, suck it up, whatever phrase you want to use. You've got to get this turned in, okay? Again, by Friday. If you have any, anger issues, I'm just teasing you, but if you got any questions or anything, please call me or email me. Terry, you've been real good about emailing. All of you guys, email me or call, all right? I don't mind you calling one bit. Leave a message if we're not here, and I will call you back. I'm very good at doing that, okay? All right, moving on. These last four numbers here spell math, if that helps you. Remember, just kidding, that was a joke. All right, moving on. I did not get this from anyone. If you want to write this down, here's the video you should have watched. Now, you probably got this done if you'll look in your notebook. You probably finished it because it was assigned on Tuesday. All right? Okay, now here's where it gets confusing, so I need really big ears from you guys. Big ears, okay? This was supposed to have been done on, now listen carefully, Wednesday of last week. Okay, well, actually, that's not true. Give me just 1 second to go back and look at this. Okay. All right, listen carefully, and I will explain this well. On Wednesday of last week, are you listening? Watch this. You were supposed to watch a video. Okay? Do you remember what happened last week on Wednesday? The internet went kerplunk. It did not work. So you could not watch the video. So Thursday, and I believe Mrs. Stratton, I'm just going from memory, I think Mrs. Traffenstedt might have subbed on Thursday. On Thursday, you watched the video, which is great. I have no problem with that. So on Thursday, you watched the video that you were supposed to watch on Wednesday. Again, that's not your fault. That's fine. I'm not going to punish you for that. That's fine. Friday, the next day, you came in and you did homework. And from what I understand, now if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, I talked to Mrs. Little and this is what she said. And you didn't watch a new video, you watched the video that went with this homework right here. Okay? So let's go over this again. On Thursday, you watched a video. Actually, you didn't finish it. That's what happened. On Thursday, you started the video. You weren't able to finish it, so you finished it on Friday. And then when it was over, you guys started working on the homework. Now, again, I'm not being mean, but there's no reason for this homework to not be done. I mean, you should have done it over the weekend. If it was given to you on Friday, then it should be done. So this assignment is due today. All right? So you need to turn this in. You can turn in anything you got. Let's go back a bunch of pages here. Let's go to right here. Ashley, if you have this right here, turn it in today. Megan, Ashley, if you have this assignment, turn it in today. Ashley, Caitlin, if you have this one, turn it in today. And then everybody hopefully has this one. Okay, turn it in today. I'll take a stack of homework. I don't care. I'll take 100 sheets of paper. That's fine with me. I just want it turned in. And then here, this is the time where you came into class last Wednesday. The internet didn't work, so on Thursday you watched the video for part of the class. You didn't finish it, so you finished it on Friday, and then when it was over you started working on your homework. There was a video to go with this homework. This should be done, okay? And so I'm not bragging, but I think I've explained this pretty well, step by step, what you owe me. This has all got to be turned in. So again, let me go back a couple pages, write that phone number down. Call me. If you want to email me, you should know by now all of the teachers here have the same address. It's their last name, then their first initial at bereanacademy.net. You should know that, okay? So there's my email and there's my phone number. Call me or email if you have any question. Now, we're going to cancel the quiz for this week. There is no way we can have that quiz. It's impossible. First of all, class was canceled last Friday. And then when I drew up the lesson plans for this week, I forgot that you guys had Monday off, so I planned Monday. There is no way. I'm not going to give you a quiz the first day of the week when you come back from a weekend. That would be a disaster. Well, we can't have the quiz on Wednesday. We got to start reviewing for the test. So no quiz, no quiz. We will have a test on Friday. It will be a thorough test. It will cover Chapter 5. We're trying to cover a test at least once every 3 weeks. So there will be a test on Friday. Now, rewind this, pause it, whatever you got to do to get the job done, do it, okay? But this is all the information you need on missing assignments. Okay, so we're getting ready to take notes now. Here's our heading right here. And so I'm going to go back a page. So as everybody see, if you got to pause the video, pause it, finalize all of your stuff, and let's roll. Okay. All right. We're looking today at, notice it's part 1 of lesson 5-6. So I'm going to teach a rather short lesson. I know I've talked a lot and covered a lot of housekeeping things. And so because of that, I always try to keep my lessons somewhat short and give you homework time in class. So we're going to do part of 5-6, not all of it. Sorry about that. And the angle bisector theorem is what we're looking at. Today's date is the 22nd. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you a very, I think, difficult concept to understand, but you need to get this. I cannot stress to you how important this is. We must first discuss the phrase, and here it is, the distance from a point to a line. If you don't get that phrase, let me jump ahead here about 2 pages. Just watch this for a second. When we get to this theorem right here, you're not going to know what that theorem means if we have yet to understand what this is talking about here. Okay? So let's talk about this phrase, the distance from a point to a line. Now, in your notes, if you would please, I would like you to go ahead and draw a line. There, draw a line. And now, let's put a point right here. If I said to you, students, what's the distance from this point to this line? If you're like normal students, you would say, well, there's a lot of distances. There's a distance, there's a distance, there's a distance, there's a distance, there's a distance. Do you see what I'm saying? Excuse me, do you see what I'm saying? I mean, if I ask you what is the distance from this point to this line, I mean, there's tons of them. So in geometry, when they ask you to find, or when they say the phrase, the distance from a point to a line, they mean, are you ready for this? Please take some good notes. They are talking about one specific line. Got it? One line. Now, you go back real quick and look at all of these lines that I had drawn. Well, that worked really well, didn't it? Not good at all. If you looked at all those lines I had drawn, remember all those red lines? That's a lot of lines. But in geometry, when we say the distance from a point to a line, we were talking about one specific line. And guess what line that is? Are you ready? This is so important. It is this line right here. It is the, remember that symbol? It means perpendicular. It is the perpendicular line. Got it? So when I ask you what is the distance from this point to this line, I am talking about, students, a perpendicular line. Perpendicular. It starts from the point and it hits this line and forms a right angle there. That, students, is the distance. Put a little right angle there. From here to here is the distance from a point to a line. Got it? So when you see this phrase from now on and it's talking about the distance from a point to a line, it's talking about the perpendicular line. That is so important, the perpendicular line. Okay? All right, so now that you're on the edge of your seat with excitement, let's go ahead and get into one theorem today. We are looking at one theorem, and here it is. Write this down, please. We are looking at the angle bisector theorem. The angle bisector theorem, and here it is. If a point lies on or is on the bisector of an angle, then it, what is it? The point. We're talking about the point. Then it, the point, is equidistant from two sides of the angle. If a point in the bisector of an angle, if a point is on the bisector of an angle, then it is equidistant from the two sides of the angle. Now, if you're like most students, you need a picture. So we're going to draw a picture. Don't be embarrassed by that. Everyone needs pictures, okay? Pictures are good. Pictures are your friend. They are not your enemy. So here we go. All right. There's your angle. Okay. Now remember, I hope you guys know this from last semester. If not, you're a little behind here. The if in the theorem is always the what part. Do you remember? It's always the given. Good. You read well. Just kidding. It's the given. So I'm telling you, you are given a point on the bisector of an angle. That's what you're given. So do y'all remember what a bisector is? You don't? You do? Well, I hope you do. A bisector is a line that cuts the angle right in half. So there we go. So go ahead and draw that if you need to, please. And think about it. See this green mark? Here's the whole angle right there. See that? Well, the bisector cuts it in half. So that means that this angle here, put 1/, is congruent to this angle here. It has to be, because this black line is a what? It is a bisector, and it cuts the angle in half. Okay? So if a point lies on the bisector, we'll put the point right here. There we go. Sound effects, and good. So the point is on the bisector of an angle. Then this point right here, see my pen? I'm circling it right here over and over. This point right here is equidistant from where? From the two sides of the angle. Now we just talked about, let's go back a page, we just talked about what we mean when we say the distance of a point to a line. We're talking about the perpendicular line. Got it? So in this theorem, when it says this point is equidistant from the sides of the angle, it's talking about a perpendicular line. Okay? So what that means is if I draw, if I can get this to work, if I draw a perpendicular line from this point here, that looks pretty perpendicularish to me, and now I'm going to draw a perpendicular line here. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and mark this with a right angle and mark this with a right angle. Do you see it? See this black line right here? Let's say it has a length of 4. Well, guess what? What do you think the length of this black line is right here? 4. That's it. That's all this theorem is saying. It's not rocket science, okay? Almost, but not quite. No, it's easy. Look at it again. If you have an angle, there's your angle, and you have a bisector, there's your bisector, well, pretty weak one. If there's a point on that bisector, it's going to be equidistant from the sides of the angle. Now we know that's a really poor drawing, but hopefully you get the idea. That's all that theorem is saying. So for the 100th time, I'm sure you're pulling up the pillows and falling asleep. If you have an angle, see that red angle, and you have an angle bisector, there's that black line, and there's a point on that angle bisector, that point is going to be equidistant from the sides of that angle. That's the theorem. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's work some problems now using this, and then I'm going to turn you loose on your homework. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at this first problem. Please copy this into your notes. I want us to find FH. In other words, the distance of FH. Now, if you will look at the picture here, copy this in your notes, please. Here's FH right here. Here's F. Here's H. They want us to find the length of FH. Got it? So here we go. Now would you please notice some things? Please watch this. Do we have an angle right here? Yes, we do. Do you notice how this little angle right here is congruent to this angle here? Do you see that? They marked it for you. It might be hard to see on the screen. There we go. It might be hard to see on the screen, but there's a little mark there and there's a little mark. So if this angle here is congruent to this angle here, then you know what we got, students? We've got an angle bisector. Think about it. If this big angle right here, this big angle is cut in half so that this angle here is congruent to this angle here, then we have an angle bisector. And if we have an angle bisector, then what did we just learn? We just learned if we have an angle with a bisector and we have a point right here on the bisector, we learned that this distance right here is the same as this distance right here. We just learned that. So if that's true, then that means this distance right here, which is what? X plus 3 equals this distance right here, which is 2x plus 1. Now let's go ahead and solve for x, shall we? Let's subtract x from both sides, and we're left with 3 equals x plus 1, because 2x minus x is x. Then let's subtract 1 from both sides, and we're left with 2 equals x. You know what a lot of students do? They're like, woohoo, we're done, x equals 2. And that's not what I asked you to do. I didn't ask you to solve for x. I asked you to find the length of FH. Now, what is the length of FH? Well, if you'll look at the drawing, the length of the length of FH is x plus 3. There it is right there. And we just solve for x. X is 2. So put a 2 right there. Put a 2 in for x. And now you found the length of FH. It equals 5. All right? All right, let's go on to another problem. Okay, let's try another problem here. Let's move on to this one here. Let me move this over real quick. There we go. And make it just a little bigger so you can see it. All right, there we go. Okay, copy this into your notes, please. And I really didn't want you to see that answer, although it's not the end of the world, I suppose. But here we go. All right, and let's go ahead and let's get started. I want you to find the length of MK. MK, the length of MK. Now, are you ready? Let's do some work here. First of all, here's MK. Do you see it? Here's M. Here's K. Find that length. Now, once again, I know I'm probably boring you to death, but I want you to see this. Do I have an angle? Yes, I do. Here's my angle right here, a big old angle. Okay. Do you see these congruency marks? Look, they've got a mark here and a mark here. That means this angle here is congruent to this angle here. Now, if those two angles are congruent, that means I have a bisector right here. This is a bisector. And remember what you learned today? If you have an angle that's bisected, any point on the bisector is equidistant from the sides of the angle. So, let me change colors here. This length right here is congruent to this length here. They're equal. Okay, so that means I can take 4x and set it equal to x plus 15 because they're the same length. Let's subtract x from both sides and we're left with 3x equals 15. Now divide both sides by 3 and x equals 5. Again, if I asked you to solve for x, you would be finished. But I did not ask you to solve for x. I've asked you to find the length of MK. Now right now the length of MK, here's MK right here. The length of MK is what? X plus 15. But what are we going to put in for x? That's right, 5. So MK equals 20. All right? All right, let's continue on to another problem. Okay, students, please copy this into your notes very quickly if you would. This is going to be the easiest one out of all of them. Just ignore this answer. It's no no big deal. We're going to talk about this. Okay, please copy this into your notes. Now, would you please notice again, Mr. Earhart, you're really driving us nuts telling us this over and over. Well, guys, look, if I just tell you how to do a problem and I don't tell you why, they're all going to run together. I have to keep drilling this into your head. Notice we have a big angle here. There's your big angle. And notice we've got a line here that's bisecting the angle. Now, Mr. Earhart, how do you know it's bisecting it? Because I've got a congruent symbol here and a congruent symbol here. That means this angle and this angle are congruent. So if this angle here is congruent to this angle here, then this line right here has to be a bisector. Now you've been learning that if an angle has a bisector and there's a point on that bisector, then that point is equidistant from the side of the angle. So I want you to tell me what AD equals. This will be the easiest one yet. It's almost embarrassing, but we're still going to do it. Well, Mr. Earhart, we don't know because there's no information given to us. Well, if I erase this white blob right here, and then you saw that DC, they're telling you, they're giving you that DC equals 16. Well, if DC equals 16, what does AD have to equal? Yes, of course, 16. Okay? Now, that's what we've done today. We have looked at this theorem called an angle bisector theorem. If a point lies on the bisector of an angle, then it's equidistant from the sides of the angle. What is a bisector of an angle? It's a line that cuts an angle in half. And if an angle is cut in half, then that means this angle right here has to be congruent to this angle here. We also talked about what is this phrase, the distance from a point to a line mean? I mean, here's a point, here's a line. We could have a million distances all over the place, but we don't, because in Euclidean geometry, when they say the distance from a point to a line, they're talking about the perpendicular line. Now, here's the last problem we did. Finalize any notes on that or pause the video. Here's your homework. Yes, it's small, and yes, they're going to be pretty simple. But I'm doing that for a couple of reasons. First of all, the video's been pretty long. Secondly, I think some of you have some catch-up homework to do. I want it done by Friday, so work on it tonight. And if you get stuck on any of these, here's the video you want to go home and watch tonight, okay, to help you. All right, have a good day. I do love you. I care about you. I hope this is a help, and I know I've thrown a lot of makeup information at you earlier in the class period, but it's important you get this stuff done, okay? Tomorrow there'll be tomorrow we're going to look at the rest of 5.6, and I'm going to give you a review sheet tomorrow. You're going to work on it a little bit on Wednesday, all day in class on Thursday, and a test on Friday. I don't believe I'll be there Thursday, and so you're going to have to watch the video that goes along with the review sheet. Okay? Hope you guys have a good day.